Welcome to the Leadership Spark podcast, where we equip you to be the great leader your people deserve. This is Corey, and today we're going to talk about gratitude. Or what we're going to talk about is what happens whenever we don't express gratitude. And this is a relevant topic. We're moving into the Thanksgiving holiday, and it's time to pause and to think about all the things that we have the opportunity to be grateful for. But what I've learned in leading is a principle that I really want to remember every single day that I show up to work. And sometimes I have the tendency to forget, and it's this principle here. It's oftentimes unexpressed gratitude. Unexpressed gratitude is interpreted as ingratitude. So let me say that again. Sometimes unexpressed gratitude is interpreted as ingratitude. So when we don't express gratitude to people that we have the intent and the heart and the desire and the experience that we're grateful for with them, when we don't express that to them in some way, they can often take the silence and interpret it as you're just not grateful at all. And really isn't what you want to come across as a leader, but oftentimes that's the case. Your gratitude, if it's unexpressed, it may be hurting you as a leader. So I started to think about, why would we not express gratitude more often at work? Why would we not express gratitude more often as a leader so that we would close the gap between gratitude and express gratitude, where silence is not interpreted as me being ungrateful as a leader? And I thought about 4 different things that could be relevant for you as reasons why we don't often express gratitude, well, as often as we should express gratitude. And so I wanted to share those with you as reminders and encourage you, specifically during this season, but every single day that you show up to work as a leader. If you want to be the great leader that your people deserve, it requires gratitude. It requires expressing gratitude so people know that you are grateful for the things that they do to help you and to help your team and help your organization move towards your common goals. So here are 4 reasons leaders often don't express their gratitude. One could be time pressure. Is that your work life is so crazy. You get caught up in goals, you get caught up in tasks, you get caught up in the tyranny of the urgent, which leaves little room for you to be intentional when it comes to thanking people or being grateful or showing appreciation. And so sometimes the reason why we don't express it is because we're just too busy, and we need to stop, slow down, and be intentional to express gratitude to those around us and show appreciation. So that's one. Another could be cultural norms. Maybe you work in an environment, or you work in a type of company, or maybe your company in general, it isn't really in the culture to say thank you. And I don't know how many of those exist out there where there are cultural norms to where gratitude could be perceived as weakness, but it may exist, and it may be influencing your ability to express gratitude or willingness, or the empowerment or freedom that you have or practice that you have to build a habit of being grateful. So that's another one. Another one could be just a general lack of awareness. And I think this is the one that often can trip me up, is that I can assume, and we can assume at times as leaders, that people already know that they are appreciated, that people already know that we are grateful for them or grateful for the work that they did, that they are valued. But we don't realize that our silence is actually communicating an indifference or an ingratitude, which is not what we want. So we have to be aware. But a lack of awareness can sometimes cause us to not say thank you or show our gratitude. And the fourth is discomfort with emotion, is that you may not feel comfortable expressing how you genuinely feel, because that takes vulnerability, and that may make you feel a little bit weird or awkward or nervous or scared if you're being vulnerable, which some leaders can find uncomfortable and unfamiliar. And so that could be a blocker, is that you just don't feel comfortable being vulnerable, and saying thank you to someone requires a level of vulnerability. And so I'll share those with you to ask you to think about what could be holding you back from expressing gratitude, because it is probably affecting in a negative way your leadership influence if you are not practicing gratitude in a regular manner. So I want to encourage you to do that. The go and do is go say thank you. You can never say thank you enough. You can never say thank you enough. So go say thank you and express your gratitude, so there's no question whether you are grateful or not as a leader.